What the fuck is up, you degenerate motherfuckers? Welcome back to the deep dive where we, rip apart the bullshit and get to the juicy, fucked up truth today. We're diving into the legendary dick measuring contest between two of the biggest action stars of the 80s, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. These two, they weren't just competing for roles. They were literally trying to blow each other out of the water with bigger guns, crazier stunts, and more testosterone than a goddamn bull shark on PCP. So strap in, assholes, because this shit is about to get wild.
Well, it's certainly a rivalry that captured the public's imagination. It all started with a perceived slight, as many great rivalries do. Back in '77 at the Golden Globes, Stallone's Rocky was up for a bunch of awards, but ended up losing most of them, while Schwarzenegger nabbed New Star of the Year for Stay Hungry.
Wait, so Sly's masterpiece gets snubbed, and Arnold's
Yeah.
over there celebrating like he just won the fucking lottery. That's gotta sting.
Apparently, Schwarzenegger was laughing during Stallone's losses, and, well, let's just say Sly didn't take it lying down. He chucked a bowl of flowers at Arnold.
A fucking bowl of flowers. Is this a goddamn tea party or a Hollywood brawl?
While a floral attack might not seem particularly aggressive, it certainly set the stage for what would become a very public and often very petty rivalry. It played out in the press with both stars taking shots at each other in interviews, and on screen as they tried to outdo each other with increasingly over-the-top action sequences.
They were basically trying to out-alpha each other every step of the way, right? Bigger explosions, more muscle, more mayhem. It was like watching two silverback gorillas fighting over a banana.
Their rivalry reflected the hyper-masculine competitive nature of the action genre at the time, but it wasn't all for show. There were rumors that they actively tried to sabotage each other's careers. One particularly nasty example involved a story about Schwarzenegger's father being a Nazi sympathizer, allegedly leaked to the press by Stallone.
Hold the fucking phone. Arnold's dad was a Nazi.
His father was a member of the Nazi Party, yes. But there's no evidence to suggest he was involved in any war crimes or atrocities. Spreading that kind of rumor, even if it has a grain of truth, is a pretty low blow.
Yeah, that's some seriously fucked up shit. Dragging someone's family into it, especially with that kind of history, is just crossing the line. What a dick move.
It demonstrates just how intense their rivalry became. They were willing to go to extreme lengths to damage each other's image. There was also that incident where Stallone and his crew stormed into a nightclub and demanded they take down a picture of Schwarzenegger. They literally ripped it off the wall.
Jesus Christ. These guys were like a couple of teenage girls fighting over a prom date. What a bunch of fucking clowns.
It seems absurd in retrospect, but at the time, their rivalry was very real and very bitter, and it wasn't just limited to public displays of animosity. Schwarzenegger himself has admitted to playing a prank on Stallone that may have damaged his career. Remember that cinematic masterpiece, Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot?
Oh yeah, that movie was a fucking train wreck. I'm pretty sure I lost brain cells watching it.
Well, Schwarzenegger has said that he was offered the script first and thought it was terrible. So, knowing Stallone's competitive nature, he pretended to be interested in the role, effectively tricking Stallone into taking it.
So Arnold basically set Sly up to star in a movie that was destined to bomb. That's some next-level shade throwing right there.
It certainly speaks to a certain cunning and manipulative streak in Schwarzenegger's personality. He was willing to use their rivalry to his own advantage, even if it meant potentially harming Stallone's career. So we've established these guys were playing some serious mind games with each other. But let's be real, the media probably had a hand in fanning the flames too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The tabloids were probably jerking off to this shit. Conflict sells. And these two walking egos were a gold mine for those blood-sucking vultures.
The press loved to frame their rivalry as a battle for the throne of action movies. King of action, they called it. It was all about who was bigger, badder, and more bankable.
But this wasn't just some manufactured beef for the cameras, was it? These two really seemed to fucking despise each other.
There was definitely genuine animosity there, fueled by their oversized egos and competitive personalities. Both of them were at the top of their game, and neither one wanted to give an inch.
Do you think it goes deeper than just wanting to be the biggest action star? Like some primal alpha male bullshit?
From a psychological perspective, their rivalry could be a classic case of what's called shadow projection. It's where you see your own insecurities and negative traits reflected in someone else.
So they were basically each other's worst fucking nightmare.
In a way, yes. They embodied the same archetype, the hyper-masculine, physically dominant action hero. Each one saw the other as a threat to his own image and identity.
All right, so we've got these two assholes locked in a pissing contest for a decade, trying to sabotage each other's careers. Then all of a sudden, they bury the hatchet and start making movies together. What the fuck happened? Did they finally grow up and get some therapy?
I doubt they ever sat down on a therapist's couch and hugged it out. It's more likely that their shared experiences, both on and off screen, eventually led to a begrudging respect for one another.
Really? You think all those years of trying to fuck each other over just magically disappeared?
Mm.
I'd be holding a grudge the size of Texas.
It's possible some resentment lingers, but over time, they may have come to appreciate each other's talents and their contributions to the action genre. They were both pioneers in their own way.
So maybe they realized that fighting each other was pointless, and it was better to team up and rule the action world together.
That's a romantic notion, isn't it? The former rivals joining forces to become an unstoppable duo. It's the kind of narrative Hollywood loves. And in this case, it seems reality might have imitated art.
Okay. But were they actually friends? Like, did they go on double dates and shit?
It's hard to say for sure, but I wouldn't rule it out. They've both spoken publicly about their newfound respect for each other, and they definitely showed a willingness to work together.
Let's be real, though. Those later collaborations were probably more about nostalgia and cashing in on their shared legacy, right? Those Expendables movies were basically a geriatric action hero circle jerk.
There's definitely an element of that, but it still takes a certain level of mutual respect and trust to put aside years of bad blood and work together on high-profile projects like that.
Yeah, you're right. They could have just ignored each other and spent their golden years being bitter old bastards. So maybe there's hope for these two after all.
Perhaps their story offers a valuable lesson. Even the most bitter rivalries can evolve into something positive.
You mean like me and that asshole who keeps stealing my Amazon packages? Maybe we should go star in a buddy cop movie.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
All right, you beautiful degenerates. That's it for part 2 of our Schwarzenegger-Stallone deep dive. Stay tuned for the final round, where we'll dissect their legacies, their impact on pop culture, and whether this whole pissing contest was actually good for Hollywood. All right, you magnificent bastards, welcome back for the final round of this epic showdown. We've dug through the shit, analyzed the bullshit, and now it's time to figure out this whole Schwarzenegger-Stallone dick measuring contest actually fucking mattered. Did their rivalry change the game, or was it just two assholes with big egos fighting over scraps?
Well, it certainly made for entertaining headlines. But whether it truly mattered depends on how you define matter. Did it impact their individual careers? Did it influence Hollywood as a whole? Did it leave a lasting mark on pop culture? These are all questions worth exploring.
It's like a goddamn chicken or the egg scenario.
Yeah.
Did their rivalry make them bigger stars? Or were they already destined to be action movie gods?
It's probably a combination of both. Their competitive spirit undoubtedly drove them to push harder, take bigger risks, and ultimately reach new heights in their careers.
So they basically used each other to fuel their own success. It's like a twisted bromance fueled by steroids and explosions.
Their rivalry also had a significant impact on the action genre as a whole. It helped to solidify the archetype of the hyper-masculine, indestructible action hero that dominated the 80s and 90s.
So they basically made it cool to be a muscle-bound badass who shoots first and asks questions later.
To put it crudely, yes. They created a formula that countless other action movies have followed ever since. The bigger guns, the bigger explosions, the one-liners, the improbable stunts, they all became hallmarks of the genre.
And let's not forget the cultural impacts. These guys weren't just movie stars. They were global icons. They were on magazine covers, posters, on bedroom walls, and even lunchboxes. They were larger than life.
Absolutely. They became symbols of masculinity, strength, and, dare I say, a certain kind of American exceptionalism. They represented the idea that anything is possible if you work hard enough and never back down from a challenge.
They were like the American dream on steroids. Two guys who came from nothing and conquered Hollywood with their bare hands and a shit ton of gunpowder.
Of course, we can't discount their talent and charisma. They were both incredibly skilled performers who knew how to command the screen and connect with audiences.
Yeah. Talent, charisma.
Yeah.
Keks the size of watermelons.
But their appeal went beyond just physicality. Their movies, for all their over-the-top action, often touched on universal themes of good versus evil, perseverance, and redemption. These are themes that resonate with audiences regardless of age, culture, or background.
All right, Professor, enough of the highbrow analysis. Let's get back to the good stuff. Rivalries, grudges, backstabbing, that's what the people want.
I suppose you have a point. Conflict is inherently dramatic, and it makes for a good story.
Exactly. Think about it. Would we be talking about these guys today if they'd just been a couple of boring old buddies? Hell no. It's the rivalry, the drama, the animosity that makes their stories so damn entertaining.
Perhaps there's a lesson to be learned here. Maybe a little healthy competition isn't always a bad thing. It can push us to be better, to strive for more, and to create something truly memorable.
So what you're saying is we should be encouraging our kids to fight with their classmates.
Not quite, but there's something to be said for the motivational power of a worthy adversary.
Okay, fine. But let's be real. Their reconciliation was probably more about money and career longevity than any genuine change of heart.
There's definitely an element of pragmatism in their later collaborations, but it's also possible that they genuinely came to respect each other's talents and appreciate their shared history.
All right, fine. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe those old bastards did learn a thing or two about letting go of grudges.
The Schwarzenegger-Stallone saga is more than just a Hollywood feud. It's a reflection of our own fascination with competition, ambition, and the pursuit of greatness. It's a reminder that even the most bitter rivalries can evolve, and sometimes, just sometimes, even lead to something resembling friendship.
Damn, that's some deep shit, man. You should write a self-help book. How to turn your enemies into million-dollar movie franchises.
I think I'll pass on that one.
Well, there you have it, folks. The tale of two titans who clashed, conquered, and maybe, just maybe, learned to tolerate each other along the way. It's a story about ego, ambition, and the enduring power of a good old-fashioned dig measuring contest. And hey, if those two old bastards can bury the hatchet after all that bullshit, maybe there's hope for the rest of us assholes too. Until next time, keep it real, keep it raw, and never be afraid to chuck a bowl of flowers at your enemies. Peace out.